This is the dye sublimation printer. This is where the magic happens. We have a humidity controlled room that, based off the humidity and the speed at which we're printing, actually determines how the color is going to come out on the paper prior to pressing it onto the material. So from here, we actually adjust the humidity and we adjust the speed at which it's printing in order to get the colors correct. And here at Toddy Gear in the USA, we can match up to 3 PMS colors on any 4-color process job. After you've approved your artwork, we actually send the file to our design team, and they will take your artwork and put it into our software so that we can begin the magic of making your mask. From there, our print tech takes the artwork, flips it, and makes an exact mirror image of it, sizes it accordingly so that it fits on a specific kind of paper that we're going to use for the dye sublimation process. After we've printed your artwork, we come to the rotary heat press and we actually set the temperature and the speed of the machine based off of the colors that we're trying to get through with your art. Whether there's PMS matches is all directly reflective on the speed at which the machine goes, as well as the temperature setting that we put it at. We put the fabric on top of the printed paper and we run it through the machine, and this is called roll-to-roll dye sublimation. The material goes through, the ink explodes off of the paper that we previously printed and goes into the fabric. Much like taking a glass of wine and pouring red wine on fabric, it goes into the fabric, it expands, and literally becomes a part of the material. This is a very unique process, and again, it takes years and years of experience in order to determine for every material you use, every piece of art you use, you have to have different speed setting and different temperature setting depending on your substrate. This is one of the coolest pieces of equipment we have here at Toddy Gear. Once we take the roll and print your logo on the material on the dye sub process, we bring the roll over to this machine, we load it on, and as it comes through, the designers that worked on your brand and the artwork for your brand predetermine where the laser is going to cut. The material comes through on the suction table. The laser cuts the material. It also eliminates a lot of unnecessary waste. And then once it comes through, there's the front of your Fx3 mask, your brand, front and center right there. When we begin sewing the mask, we start with the top and bottom of the panels and we sew them together in order to get the 3D effect of the mask when the wearer is wearing the piece. From there, we sew the binding on the right and left side of the mask in one continuous piece and trim it so that each one is cut perfectly to the shape of the final product. Now we're going to take the second layer of the mask and combine it with the first layer of the mask and put them together, and we're going to sew them so it becomes one entire piece. Afterwards, we'll take the nose bridge, insert it into the top layer of the mask, and sew it in so that it fits snugly on the wearer's face when the finished product is complete. Now it's time to install the straps. Again, we're using the same piping that we used for the left and right side of the mask, and we're going to sew them across the top and across the bottom of the piece, measuring to make sure that the length of the final product is exactly what it needs to be before it goes into the trimming section of our production process. At this point in the process, we're going to take the piping, we're going to insert the buckle onto each side of the mask, and then we're going to sew it together so that the end product does not fray when it is shipped to your customer.